Hey guys, Chris here. Today we're going to be talking about the shiny hunting basics and how to recruit shiny Pokemon at a higher rate. From my understanding, strong foe Pokemon have a possible -% chance at recruiting them or an extremely low chance. You'll need tons of items to increase that chance. First off, beat the main story. If you don't, shiny hunting is near impossible. A good amount of the items will be easier to get once you beat the story or only accessible once you beat the story. Now comes to the hunt and helpful tips when doing it. I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think the only way to recruit a Pokemon is having the leader be the one that delivers the final blow, knocking out that Pokemon. Will also need to be at least 1 to 3 spaces away. If the Pokemon uses a move that has recoil damage and knocks itself out, or your partner Pokemon / recently recruited Pokemon knock it out, you'll fail it. I believe if they are poisoned and die from that, you'll also fail it. I could be wrong, but that's what I noticed. Secondly, the Pokemon. You'll need strong Pokemon, that's a given. You'll need one that knows or can learn False Swipe. False Swipe works differently in this game. Instead of leaving them at 1 health, you'll knock them out and have a higher chance of recruiting them. You can earn False Swipe through the story by recruiting Pokemon that might be able to learn False Swipe. Or once you beat the game, you can play different caves over, such as Remains Island and Solar Cave. The second time clearing them through and going to the very end, they reward you with False Swipe and a few chests. Third on the list, rare qualities. Rare qualities can be hard to get and require Rainbow Gummies and DX Gummies. Rainbow Gummies slightly boost the stat by 1 most of the time, sometimes higher, and has a small chance to let you get a new rare quality. DX Gummies boost 1 stat, can be 1 to 5, it all just depends on your luck, but will always give you a new rare quality to pick. So, we will be looking for 2 rare qualities, Squad Up and Friendly. Squad Up. The more members you have on your team, the more likely it is that Pokemon you battle against will want to be your friends. Rare qualities will affect your whole team. With that being said, it kind of makes me wonder that if you have more than 1 Squad Up, it might stack, thus meaning you have 3 people with Squad Up, it might be 3 times, and if you recruit other Pokemon in the wild that have Squad Up, which is very possible, and then can stack more, I'm not sure if it works like that. I feel like it does to some extent, because when I had multiple Squad Up people on the team and recruited, I was getting Pokemon at a higher rate on top of it having the False Swipe and whatnot without using Inviting Orbs. Now the next one is something more simple and not as complex as this one. And of course, last but not least, friendly. Pokemon you battle against are more likely to become your friends. Rare qualities affect your whole team. Once again, I believe this one stacks because it says Pokemon you battle against are more likely to become your friends. Now, this could also just mean this singular Pokemon, but I think Squad Up will still affect everything. So the Pokemon that has friendly, you probably want to be the one knocking it out with, and you probably will get the Squad Up as well. I currently don't have a friendly Pokemon that can learn False Swipe, so I keep him on the team just in case. If I can get a Pokemon with friendly and False Swipe, that'd be awesome. It just comes down to getting it with the gummies. Of course, this is very hard, as you can tell right here. The gummies, I only have 1 DX gummy. They're really rare. The Rainbow Gummies have a small chance, so out of these 14, I might only get a few. So that is kind of irritating, but it's just one of the things to farm for a while and then possibly find a Pokemon you like, such as Scyther or something, or Sceptile, teach it False Swipe, and then just go all in, hopefully getting it friendly. Next up is items. Items are essential. Here's a list of stuff you should have in your inventory before hunting. Of course, the Friend Bow. The Friend Bow is very important. As it states, when this item is equipped, Pokemon you battle will be more likely to join you. It's also said that shiny Pokemon will want to join you too. It's only effective when the leader equips it though. Now, when they say leader, they mean the Pokemon, I believe, that you can switch between. One of the 3. I don't think it means like your Blastoise, because he was the leader of the party, but, you know, the rescue team, but not the actual leader. I think it just means that, of course, because some people are like, what do I mean by leader? Just a little clarification. You can get this item at the Solar Cave dungeon, which is at level 20. Your first playthrough will net you this. Of course, you have to beat the game first. After you play through it again, you go to floor 20 again, you'll get False Swipe and other such items, so make sure that if you need more False Swipes, do that. The Inviting Orb. Using it will make it easier to befriend Pokemon you battled. The effect continues while you're on the floor you use the orb on. Now, of course, I don't think these can stack. I bring 2 just in case I feel like they might stack, but they normally say it will stack. But other times they will stack, they just don't say. I don't think this is going to stack, so I don't know, just keep 1, I guess, but 2 in case you get hit by a sticky and it can't activate that. So just to be safe, I mostly carry 2 around. Next up, of course, is the Oran Berry. It just restores your HP when you're low by 100 points. Very crucial. Do not use citrus berries. Use citrus berries to go to your area, like the camps, and feed them to your Pokemon there. They'll give you plus 5 HP. So never use your citrus berries, even though they are the better option for healing. They're not the better option as a whole. Of course, we go on to Tiny Reviver Seed and Reviver Seed. Reviver Seeds are a little bit rare, so you obviously want to save them. So use your Tiny Reviver Seeds before then. But Reviver Seeds is, if this item's in your toolbox, it will revive a faint Pokemon. Additionally, it helps restore their PP and belly, which is good, but at the same time, the setup I'm going to be doing is going to be a little bit easier, so you don't have to worry about the belly pretty much. Of course, we got the Revive All Orb. I would say keep 2. This thing is a amazing item. Using it revives all your fainted teammates, but once you go to the next floor, you won't be able to revive any teammates except the main one. So just say you have 5 recruit Pokemon you got on that singular floor, and they all die. When you move up to the next floor, you cannot revive them, but if you're on that floor, you can revive them with the Revive All Orb. And of course, your partner Pokemon, the ones that follow you, that come with you at the beginning of the dungeon, the 2 other Pokemon that are with you, they can be revived at any level of the dungeon with the Revive All Orb. So that's like the good thing of it. However, not so lucky for the other people. Now, of course, you need big apples and perfect apples just to fill up your belly. The build I use for my characters never use apples at all. I keep them in case I need a quick recruit. Just do the squat up faster. Sometimes you might run to a shiny Pokemon on floor 1 or floor 2, and there'll be a fainted Pokemon there, and your squat up ability needs you to have more and more Pokemon in your party. So the big apple will just pretty much acquire you that fainted Pokemon that needs are, like, you know, not the ones that ran out of belly, and you can just go feed it really quick. So I keep it around just in case I need to recruit Pokemon fast at the beginning. But if you don't want to use the type belt, which we'll go into a bit, keep obviously apples around. Perfect apples are the best. They are a little bit harder to get. I have about 30 or 40 of them, so I have a stockpile of them, so I use perfect apples if I need to. There are traps in the dungeon that will make it to where they expire all your apples, so that's why I use the type belt, which we'll get into. Of course, we have max elixirs. Always want to use max elixirs over max ethers because they heal the whole entire PP usage of your Pokemon when they drop to 0 for every move. I have like, I think 70 of these, so I have a huge amount I can use that. You can use max ether, they just take up more space, and you need a lot of resource management in this game, so using max elixirs is the best. You want to clear out almost all of your abilities before you use this. Next up is the Cleanse Orb. Very, very important. Using it cleans sticky, gunked up items in your toolbox. Sometimes you'll hit a trap or hit a certain Pokemon that might make it to where you get an X symbol and you won't be able to use it for the whole entire stage, that item, or the whole entire dungeon, I believe. So keeping a Cleanse Orb is really important, but keeping 2 is even more important thanks to Rising Blue Phoenix, another content creator and good friend that told me one time he got hit by a Cleanse Orb getting sticky and didn't have another Cleanse Orb to clean it. So these Cleanse Orbs can get hit. It's very important. Your friend bow might get hit, which then makes it to where it's useless. So keep in mind, Cleanse Orbs are going to be your friend in those situations. Now, my favorite item is the Type Belt. When this item is equipped, the wearer's belly won't empty unless they pass through walls or use linked moves. I never use linked moves. Shiny hunting will help with linked moves. I guess it can help out. Like you could put, like, you know, Thunder Wave with a False Swipe or something, or Thunder Wave or like Sleep Powder with False Swipe. Something like that that could be useful. However, I don't like linked moves, so I never have to worry about my belly emptying. If you do want to use linked moves, you can always just keep the apples, like I said. They'll pretty much drain a little bit slower, but the Type Belt is a godsend. It's amazing. It helps out so much with exploration. You can go through a 99 dungeon, and as long as the person that's wearing this, you will never run out of belly. So it's amazing, unless you do one of the 2 things. I love it, though, so I highly recommend. The way you get Type Belt is by, when you go into the town square, there'll be a Munchlack that walks around. He'll give you 1 item the first time. The second time you encounter him, he'll give you the Type Belt. You do have to give him food, such as an orange berry or an apple, so keep in mind, keep them kind of on you, just in case he pops up. I'm not sure if he freezes in place and stops. He might just keep walking. On my 3rd encounter, I went to go get an apple because I didn't have it. Unlike Sword and Shield, the game does not freeze, so he just kept going, and I couldn't see if I get an extra item on the 3rd attempt, but he might just stop in place. I think he might, but on the off chance, just keep them available. Next up is the Efficient Bandana. I know there's other better things, but for my build, I like using the Efficient Bandana. When this item's equipped, moves sometimes won't cost PP to use. This is good for one of your partner Pokemon that has lower moves that require you to replenish them often. I just like having that. There's, of course, way better options. If you have better options, totally do it. This is all based on personal preference. I would say Type Belt and Friendbow are musts. I highly recommend them. But for the last spot, use whatever you like, I guess. There's ones that make it to where weather don't affect that Pokemon. Some dungeons will require a lot of weather going on, and they will require, like, maybe that bow. I got into one where, like, every second there was a new inclement weather that just kept killing my Pokemon. It was a huge mess. So, yeah. Okay, now onto useful orbs, stuff I highly recommend. They're not like needed, I guess you could say, but I would get them. Escape orb is a huge one, lets you just leave the dungeon. If you have tons of, items and tons of stuff and there's no hope, just use it. It's just, you might lose the shiny, you might lose your progress in dungeon, but it does save you the money. I don't ever recommend bringing money, bring a bank orb instead. If you do run into like a Wigglytuff shop, that's good, but always keep the escape orb, or not Wigglytuff shop, the Kecleon shop. Next up is the all Powerup Warp. I have yet to really use this. I use it like once or twice. It is useful. Using it sharply boosts the attack and special attack of all your teammates. The effect continues while you're on the floor. You use the orb on. Once you go up a floor, all these stats will go away. It's especially effective in boss battles. As you can tell, that's just like the best thing ever. Petrify, I love this a whole lot. Just pretty much freezes all the enemies that are in the same room. They can't move until you attack them, which is kind of stupid because once again, as we bring back to your partner Pokemon, you can make it to where they don't attack. However, the AIs will attack that you just recently recruited. So if the AIs get into that room, they will start attacking them and causing all those Pokemon to start waking up as they get hit. But it is very useful. I do like it a whole lot. It has helped me multiple times, even just playing out turns. Sometimes you need to use like 3 Oran berries or something. Petrifying them all, using the Oran berries helps a whole lot. They don't always go after them. I just think sometimes the AI is wonky. Next up is Lasso. This is a pretty decent one. Use it to gather all the enemies in the same room into one place, so you can just condense them all into one place, which is nice. You might have a move like Hydro Pump that just powers through multiple hits. You might have Surf, something like that. There's many useful uses with this. Full Hold Orb. Using it makes all enemies on the floor petrified. The effect continues. This, of course, is a better version of the Petrified Orb. Just if you don't have the thing, the full Hold Orb is just really nice. I like both. Slumber Orb, using it makes enemies in the same room go to sleep for a while. That's, once again, another useful thing. These are things to lock down the enemy so you can plan out, you can do a whole bunch of things. And last but not least, Spurn Orb, using it warps all enemies in the same room to somewhere else on the floor. If you're in a hot situation where you get a monster house and there's like a shiny in there or 2 shinies, or they're really, really powerful Pokemon, you can't deal with them all at once, you can just use a Spurn Orb and just teleport them all elsewhere. You can go, bye-bye, see you later. You don't have to worry about them. There's, of course, other useful items, but these are the ones that will really help you in shiny hunting, and I highly recommend them. This section of the video, of course, is off, not as scripted, so if I sound a little goofy or I mess up a bit, that's the reason why. But yeah, so once again, Friend Bows, really important. Invite Orb, those 2 are the most important. And Oran Berries are good. Reviver Seeds are pretty much must. You might run into Pokemon that are extremely powerful or have a ton of Pokemon around them that will mess you up. So Reviver Seeds, top tier. Revive all the tops of the tiers, and then of course the max elixirs, which you're gonna need in cleanse orbs. All the other stuff, that's just type belt also is up there, I guess, too, but all the other stuff is just to help out with it. You can bring multiples, like I said, bring maybe 2 petrify orbs and whatnot is really useful. This is, of course, 41 out of 48. This is not my complete build. I wouldn't bring this many max elixirs. Maybe people need it. I've played the game enough to where I can understand why I need to use them. Perfect apples, I wouldn't bring this much, but other people that don't use type belt might, or other people that want to recruit Pokemon faster might. So you also don't have to bring perfect apples, like that many. You can bring 1, and then big apples or small apples, even tiny apples to save your resources when recruiting Pokemon. So just keep in mind, items are very important. They are going to help you recruit the shinies. They are the most important part. Formation. Formation is very important. It's the best way to increase the chance of not failing due to the prior reasons, and of course, the best formation is holding yourself up in a corridor, like this one right here. I can tell I have my partner Pokemon behind me, the Magneton, and of course the Sceptile. The rest of the other recently recruited Pokemon are behind them, just as so. The problem I have with this game, of course, is that you can make your partner Pokemon, such as the Magneton and Sceptile, stop attacking and follow orders. However, the other ones, not so much. They just do their own thing, and they can get in the way, and they can also deliver final blows, which had me fail a few shinies in this game already, which is very irritating. So, as you can tell, this is a little tiny corridor. It's probably better to have the longer ones, but I like the shorter ones, if you know what I mean. So, kind of irritating that they, have to really rely on a lot of things. The best way to get around this is to not recruit Pokemon with ranged attacks. As you can tell, that Pokemon right there, Zubat, he has some ranged attacks sometimes. Another good range attack would possibly be Weedle, because he can use string shots to decrease the stats of Pokemon. So sometimes range attacks, when you require partners, are good. Overall, though, it's not so great to have it to where you get the extra Pokemon that can attack from far, because I had to where I was doing 50, 60 damage to a shiny Pokemon, and then some dude popped in with 8 attack and killed it, and I was like, oh, well, that was annoying, and I just totally wasted my time on that one, because the partner Pokemons do not follow, and they will not go through your Pokemon, as I'm doing it right here. I can go through these Pokemon. They will not do that for me. They will just abide by sitting there and just taking it. Now, it is kind of hard to bait Pokemon into coming to you. So the best option is just to, once you find the shiny, you kind of lure it over here into a corridor area, and then you just do your attacks or do random things to lure him over closer. That's the best option to do, and then he'll eventually get there, and then you're all good to go. Yeah, that's really like it. You just want to be careful and just not get yourself goofed on. This will also lead into the fact that you can turn off commands, which are right here. It says tactic meetings. Click on it. Go to don't move on everyone. Everyone means everyone in your party that is not friendly Pokemon. Like I said, I don't know why they did this. Kind of dumb. You can click don't use moves. However, they still can possibly throw stones and spikes. So never have stones and spikes with you, because they will try to possibly launch those other things. I would just put them don't use moves, and then they're just kind of sitting there, just chilling there. They won't really do anything, and you'll just be fine for the most part. So this is very important because you can fail Pokemon, from my understanding, if other people try to interact with you, and it's annoying. You can quickly control certain Pokemon, so you might have like a Thunder Wave Pokemon. Just push the plus button on your Joy-Con or controller, and then just use their Thunder Wave manually. They will still sit by the, not attacking. However, if you switch a Pokemon and you don't have the tactics meeting for everyone to don't use moves, and just say you individually made them to not use moves, when you switch that Pokemon, the Pokemon you didn't do that will now attack. So, for example, if you had it to where your Blastoise is the main one and you have it let's go together, and then these two are don't use moves, and you're using your Blastoise, and they're like, oh, do you know what? I'll just switch to my Sceptile really quick. Now that Blastoise is active, and since it does not have the don't use moves as the everyone trait, it will now start attacking people. So keep that in mind. I did that before, and I killed a few Pokemon I wanted. Not Shines, but just in general. So be very wary when doing this. This is a huge setup, and this helps out so much. I tend to forget often when I do this, so like, I am no way good at this myself, but I have realized when doing this, this does help greatly. Okay, and the final part is how bosses spawn in. I don't know the percentile chances of a boss spawn, let alone a shiny boss spawn, so maybe they're like a 0.5% chance of spawning. So that means that every time a Pokemon spawns in, you have that little dice roll of it will spawn in a boss. And they have an extra dice roll if it's going to spawn in shiny. So, it might take you a while, but if you are on a floor and you go up and down, you just kind of keep moving around and keep spawning Pokemon, you might run into a boss. I've gotten bosses on floor 1. I got them on floor 5. I think it's more common and the chances increase the higher you go in stages. So when you're at, like the Metagross area at level like 7 to 8, I mostly see that's where the bosses spawn. But on some chances, you might get something rare as a like floor 1, 2, 3 or such. But as it goes, just keep going. You can stay in these areas and just keep going up and down and trying to spawn more. However, after a certain point, they will be like, hey, you got to leave or else you're going to get blown out of the mystery dungeon. You might get just blasted out of there by some special wind. So just find where the exit is and be close to it, and then just try to spawn more if you'd like to. From my understanding, I think it's just better just to complete the dungeon, just keep going through it over and over again than trying to spawn it, because it's just going to be a pain in the butt. Now, I don't know how it fluctuates between the higher levels, such as 40, 50 onwards. I haven't done those yet. I'm still an amateur. I'm trying to build my way up there. So I'll get there at one point, but just be prepared. That's the next thing I want to talk about really quick. Each dungeon is different. Some dungeons are extremely easy, some are really taxing, and some are just pains in the booty. Certain ones might require certain items. Other ones might require powerful Pokemon. Other ones might require both. There's times where like Espeon's area has a lot of traps, so it's probably better to have things that can detect traps, things that can also stop weather. It is only a 1 through 13 dungeon, but the Pokemon are much stronger than the Metagross 1 through 9 dungeon. The amount of floors does not dictate the difficulty. It dictates it essentially how long it's going to go for. Because a Shuckle 1 through 50 might be extremely hard. I don't know yet. But in some cases, maybe that Espeon might be harder because it has more powerful Pokemon, more traps, more weather conditions. This is just, little examples of how that could be. Just be prepared. Do every dungeon as is. Maybe do 1 or 2 run-throughs before you try to fully shiny hunt it and really anchor down and try to figure out every little ins and out of the dungeons and how it works. Just be prepared. That's my biggest thing I can say. I think that about does it. I want to say thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to leave a comment down below asking questions, if you want to get a hold of me on Discord, on Twitter, on Instagram, links in the description down below. I do stream on Twitch. I don't stream so much on YouTube anymore. It's a very bad system to stream on. It just hasn't been good. There was some video qualities in this. If I haven't fixed them, I do apologize. I don't know what happened. My computer has been really weird lately and hasn't been recording as much as I'd like it to in the right context and in the right settings, I guess. It just looks really awkward. So who knows? But if you want to help out by becoming a member, you can always click the join button, costing anywhere between $1 to $5. You also would like to become a patron. I haven't got a single patron yet. You want to go over there and help me? It'd mean a lot. You don't have to. That's just how it is, you know. It'd be awesome. But that's really about it. Thank you for watching. Sorry it's a long video. If you want to watch my other reactions or whatever have you, they're on YouTube. I'll make a playlist or something. I don't know, link them, whatever. Thank you very much. Need any help, just, message me. Always can ask questions on stream over on Twitch, twitch.tv/ChristyCoChris. Saying that actually did help a whole lot. I had like 5 followers just from yesterday by saying, hey, go follow my Twitch. So yeah, I know this is like shilling. This is pointless. I'm actually just prolonging the video even longer. Maybe I'm doing this to get extra AdSense. Who knows? Oh, maybe I'm actually being a sneaky boy. But no. Thank you so much. Hope you guys have a good day and good luck with your hunts. Bye-bye.